Spring practice kind of winding down, and you can wrap it up with the spring game on Saturday. We're talking about the importance of the spring game. How has these practices been going over the last couple weeks?
Well, spring's always an interesting time. You know, you've got your roster, and you've got a number of kids that are red shirts and they're coming in, and they're not playing on Saturdays for you in the fall. But as soon as that season's done, now they're going to try and make a name for themselves and get on the roster. So spring is a great time for them to develop. Spring football, we get to 15 practices. We get out there, we get competitive. We've had a couple scrimmages, over 100 snaps, both scrimmages. And so guys are getting plenty of opportunities to prove themselves out there. And so we're pleased with the development. Energy's been good, and we're getting better.
Yeah, you know, the list just came out with the recruits that you guys are bringing in. A lot of guys, you know, still not, you know, able to practice. But for the guys that are here now, even though no jobs are being won, it's kind of the time to kind of step up and show and say, hey, look, you know, this is what I got to offer.
Yeah, this is what I got to offer. I see who you're bringing in. We're going to be very competitive the entire year, and guys need to know that. They're building their resume this spring to try and give us some security in who we have on campus right now, and then bring in those other recruits and try to get better and get this thing off on the right foot.
With the spring game on Saturday, I mean, it has to be fun from a coaching standpoint to kind of have that game, you know, actual game feel of, you know, offense going up against defense, vice versa, but kind of having that game feel. Yeah,
it's a game feel. We'll definitely have a full complement of Division II GNAC officials here. We'll have a game atmosphere with the uniforms. Everybody always feels better in the uniform, and we'll split the teams up to be competitive, and the guys will have a lot of fun with it. And it's a great way just to kind of tie up spring. And we're still looking for guys to earn spots, move up the depth chart. But we expect our guys to bring great energy out there on Saturday at noon. So looking forward to it.
Are you guys able to, in spring practice, just kind of work on things? You know, I know this is going to be a new season, but kind of, you know, things that you took from last season, kind of like, hey, we need to improve on this, and kind of give you some time to do that.
Yeah, it's a great point. Spring's a time to experiment a little bit and take a look in the mirror at what you're doing. Tweak it a little bit, see what's going to fit the guys that you have. At all positions, and so we're trying to do a little bit of that and experiment with the quarterbacks, experiment with the running backs, defensively, maybe put guys in different positions and see what they have to offer. So it's kind of a fun time for us. We might like something and go ahead and put it in the playbook, and then we might say, no, that's just not going to fit. And so for coaches, it's also a time to develop what we're doing. Yeah.
You know, for the type of guys, for the guys you have, for the guys bringing in. From a coaching standpoint, on your side, the guys that you coach, what's something that you're looking forward to?
Well, you know, the guys that are on our roster, you know, to name some guys that we're taking a look at, you know, we've got Nick Richarduli at running back. You know, we got to find different ways to get him the ball. We've got to be looking at our quarterback position and see what they do best, and then try to, you know, really accentuate that. Defensively, we're returning some guys, and what are our strengths and weaknesses there, and for all those guys to put them in position to make plays, and that's our job. And again, we're gonna research it. We're gonna look around, talk to other coaches, and figure out some different ways to do things to maybe give us a different look, a different appearance, and maybe, you know, different flavor.
And count the total, but it looked like on the release that a lot of receivers that you guys are bringing in. Talk about the focus on the receiving core and the importance to the offensive guys.
Yeah, you know, this spring we have, I guess, the veteran receivers are two sophomores that, you know, played a little bit last year, but they weren't starters. We were missing a starter due to some academic reasons, and we lost 6 senior wide receivers last year, so we needed to restock that. Very excited about the guys that are coming in. And at the same time, the guys that are here on campus are getting better. You know, with Brandon Kikitsika, a local kid here, and Nick Williams, those are the two guys I mentioned as being the veteran sophomores. But we went out and recruited some guys that we feel are going to come in and make us really competitive at the wide receiver position. And we've had playmakers out there the last couple of years, so we got to continue to have those guys out on the edges to help Nick Richarduli in the running game. You You know, so we hope that that'll you know, really kind of, you know, expand the offense that way and force the defense to cover it from sideline to sideline.
I was going to ask Eric, the one thing that's always interesting to me is I kind of get excited when we get the recruit class to see, wow, we're going to be at this position, that, and then we have to wait a year for most of them to really see what they're about. Last year's red shirts seemed like you know, we were high on them too. What have you seen so far this spring from last year's red shirts?
Yeah, you know, as far as last year's red shirts that, you know, didn't compete with us this fall, we are seeing some guys step up, and we're glad they're here, you know, and so I think that recruiting class, we feel very good about it. I think it's across the board with players that are stepping in and go, okay, this is a guy, he's a fit, we really like him, and so we've been pleased with that recruiting class and just in general, and it's been good. So they'll definitely see some time. I don't know if you'll see a lot of them start at a position, but they're going to see some time.
From this year's recruiting class, are you going to expect any of the young guys to play right away, or are we going to go the traditional route?
Well, I think, you know, obviously we'd like to redshirt every kid, but we've also got to be and keep in mind that we've got to, you know, put the best ones out there. So we feel that there's maybe a couple receivers, you know, looking at that position again, that can step out there and be impact players for us. You know, and obviously until we see them here on campus, we don't know for sure. But boy, everything points towards, you know, maybe a Chase Crevichet and a Christian Baston as freshmen coming in, maybe being able to help us right away.
Cool.